how to build your team, which is really like kind of nuts and bolts of like how to do this thing. Like you do have to have your team built. Your team has to make sense. They can't be driving you crazy. One of the problems with this business is that it can be a little bit stressful. So this is kind of like, it sounds easier said than done, or it sounds like it's easier done than said, but it's not true. All right, lesson 2. So you need to build out a team. You basically just need 2 things. You need a handyman and you need a runner. Because if you're not going to be there every second, you can't really do things like open the door for a plumber when they come, or whatever quick solution is needed. You need a runner to go over and take care of things. Maybe just talk to them on the phone, just calm them down, like whatever is going on. That's a runner, and then you need a handyman to fix stuff. And it can't be that you're paying through the nose for everything. You have to have somebody who you have on staff. So my system is really simple. I just put somebody on staff and I give them a minimum number of hours. So in other words, for your average place, you might do, and I have a lot of multifamily, so you might do 10 hours. They make $25 an hour. They make $250 a month, but they're on call. When you need them, they will go over. Oh man, the guy is delivering a refrigerator in 5 minutes. Can you just run over there and do it? And they're ready to go. So that is really important to have somebody like that on staff. They can pick up checks. They can just do a bunch of odd jobs for you. And the other person, what I try to do is I try to use my handyman as a runner, and I try to have 2 of them. So in other words, the other person can check up on the first person. So that way you have one person kind of, not, I don't know if policing is the right word, but making the other person accountable. They can either help out or they can go, hey, so-and-so didn't do something, so you know what's going on. So you need to have a runner and a handyman. This is true for both long-term rental and short-term rental, but let's talk about long-term rentals first. Long-term rentals, you have much more like just like general maintenance issues. People kind of like live harder and stuff breaks and it has to be fixed. So the handyman can fix stuff, whether it's, beeping smoke detectors or changing air filters or whatever. Handyman can do most of that. When you have a legit problem, like a toilet backing up, or, we've had like sewage smell because the well water, the device was broken. So you need to have specialists as well. So you need to have a plumber, an electrician, you need a GC in case like you actually have to do some structural work, etc. Like we need a water person, you might need a landscaper. It depends where you live. It also depends on your lease. You might build that into your lease that your tenant does the landscaping. I have one tenant who is so awesome at planning stuff. Like I let her do everything because she makes it much better than any landscaper would and better than I would. So you need to know your tenant strengths as well, but definitely work that out. Have all of that totally delineated in the lease. But you definitely need your specialists. So your runner is going to open the door for your specialist. So your runner is going to go there and get the sprinkler guy in, or your runner's going to open it up to have the GC redo the bathroom tile or whatever. So that's how that works. For short-term rental, stuff has to be done faster and your people are not always going to be available. So when you're doing short-term rental, it's the same basic structure, but you need 2 of everything. You need 2 runners because if one's not able, you can't wait for the runner. You have to get somebody else. So you have 2 runners. You have 2 handymen. That way, if something has to be fixed, small thing has to be fixed, it can be done quick. So like I said, I'd have the runner be the handyman if available. In my world, that's always available. I don't know for you. And then you need to have turn procedures, what people have to do to get it ready for the next guest. And you need 2 cleaners. You need a cleaner who not only can clean well, but can do the turn. And then use the checklist, have the cleaner go through the checklist of what you want, where you want soaps, if you want coffees out, like whatever your little things are, how you want pillows, what it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to smell like, every last detail. If something's set to be like in action, so to speak, like the games are out, have the games out. But whatever your checklist is, you want to have that done. And those are really the big things. It's really not that hard to build a team. That's why I personally don't like giving this to somebody else to mismanage. I can mismanage on my own. No, seriously, I can manage on my own and it'll be managed the way I want. It'll have my personality on it. It'll have my standards on it, and then because I'm the one managing, I know who the plumber is. I know who the electrician is. If something goes wrong, I know who I'm going to. I don't have any issues. There's no middle miscommunication. Like I absolutely hated when I was working with a property manager and something's wrong and I have to jump in. and I've never spoken to the general contractor before. I don't know who the plumber is. You know, he doesn't know who I am when I'm talking to him, when I'm upset. I don't want that. I want direct communication. I want them accountable to me. You know, and they'll get to know the runner well, and they'll get to know the handyman well. And a lot of times your handyman will know, you know, will know the electrician, or will know, especially if you've put them together before, which is good. They can actually make each other more accountable. And you can also get real friendly, like, hey, so and so is going to be there. All that stuff is actually really easy, and as a way to kind of build rapport with all of that. So it's not complex. So just to go back and review, whether short term or long term, you need a runner and a handyman. And if you're doing short term, you really have to add in duplicates, 2 runners, 2 handyman if it's the same person, 2 runner handyman, and 2 cleaners. That way you always have somebody available. And when you're really pressed, you can put in your handyman can clean and your cleaner can fix some stuff and whatnot. But in general, you need some bodies, and those are the people that you absolutely need. And then with short-term rental, you're also going to have some hardware issues where you're going to have to fix, you know, plumbing and electrician stuff and landscaping, whatever else. So you're still going to need your specialists. So you still need your runner to allow that to happen. And then when guests have a problem, you're going to be the first line of defense as far as communication, but you're really going to have the runner take care of it. So runner is super, super, super important. And some people are so good at it. You will know who's good at it. If you want to know, if you want to have a question for me, ask me what attributes I like in a runner. And I can tell you, but I'm not going to put that here. That's my close to heart stuff, but I'm happy to tell you. Just ask me and we'll get on a one-on-one talk and we'll discuss, because it's hard for me to answer kind of blanket. I know what I need for my stuff. That might be a little bit different for depending on what you're doing, where you are. You know, like in some places you want Southern hospitality, in other places you want New York grit. Like it's not all the same. But I definitely know what qualities I like. And I think some things might be across the board. Like I really think the person should be good looking as much as possible. I think people are much softer with good looking people. They tend to go from angry to not angry really quick. And the person has to be a talker. They cannot be shy. They absolutely have to be able to talk to people and listen as well. They have to be good listeners. So those are some traits for it, but it kind of doesn't matter. Just kind of a couple things, but those are some of the things I think are really important. So building a team is easy. So, I mean, this whole thing is easy. That's kind of my major point to you is be who you are, lesson 1, and build out your team. The team's kind of an extension of you. So have the team be kind of who you are, like share the vision. And I think it's good to tell people which way to err. Like, in other words, err on the side of caution, or, you know, err on the side of aggressive, or whatever it is, whatever you want to do, just be that way. We try to be as white glove as possible. I feel like in kind of hairy situations, when you offer the generosity first, people respond pretty nicely and will do right by you. The times when you try to like sneak by tends to blow up in your face. So it's, you know, customer service 101, whether it's running a restaurant or running this. I feel like that kind of white glove customer service, kill them with kindness, it's the right way to be. That will come back to you, and it'll keep your reviews up, especially if you're doing short-term rentals. Your reviews are important. So I think that's a real plus. That's it. Any questions, ask me. Happy to go into greater detail. Happy to give you my secret attributes for the perfect runner as well.